What's going on? Another night, another late night discussions. I titled that because I really don't have anything planned. Just want to get some things off my chest and just kind of talk about some things. Let me uh let me just start in case anybody who actually wants to talk and join this panel. Let me put the link in the chat off top. Let me put that in there. Uh, first thing first is one of the things that I noticed is, in case you didn't know, this is primarily for content creators. I remember hearing someone. I think it was like the Angry Man, or it was somebody. They was saying, I wish uh, I wish YouTube charged a fee for you to come online or to have a channel or something like that or be a content creator. Primarily, I think it's because of just, you know, one of the things content creators that is real serious about this, they look at it, it's very competitive, just like anything else. Um, and a new content creator comes online every single day. It's always somebody that's on the next up and coming, advance to try to, capture audiences and try to make some money off of YouTube. I myself, um, I take a different approach. I mean, I just primarily do this for my own enjoyment. It's kind of like a hobby. I mean, I'm still very much. I mean, I'm not going to turn down any money, but I don't I'm not motivated much by any money. I don't come on here because I want to make a whole bunch of money. I do other things to make money. Um, I'm not saying I'm extremely rich. We all, anybody that's been following me kind of knows a little bit about the struggles that I have in life because I am more transparent than other people. Yet, um, also, if you've been following me for a while, you've you've noticed some of the triumphs that I've had over the years trying to deal with financial debt obligations and all of that type of stuff. So, anyways, one of the things that I noticed primarily related to StreamYard, StreamYard is, basically, I think I don't think it went public yet. It's a startup that everybody pretty much that is on YouTube uses in some form or fashion. It is like you could say it's the industry standard. Everybody pretty much uses StreamYard. Google Hangouts pretty much went away back in like 2018, something like that, 2019. I don't really know. They went away, and basically, because they went away, uh, StreamYard saw an opportunity to fill that void. StreamYard saw an opportunity to fill in the gaps and fill that void that Google Hangouts basically left. So let's see here. Let's see if I can see what the prices is, if they show the prices on their website. Um, yeah, a lot of companies, they don't necessarily want to show their pricing. That's I guess that's like some type of strategy or whatever. Um, what you find a lot is with companies that have started up and they kind of gain momentum and they start making money and they hire people. They hire people and when they hire people, they start to grow and they start to make more money and they basically need to charge more money. They start scaling their prices, and StreamYard, just like most startups, uh, that's what they that's what they're doing basically. So, and they've done that over the years. So now StreamYard is actually almost like $50 a month for like I think just the standard service. It's about 50 dollars, close to $50 a month for all of the benefits and everything like that. So roughly, it's about $500 a year in order to utilize StreamYard. So in a way, um, basically, Angry Man, he's got his wish in a way because most people, if they want to use StreamYard, they're gonna have to come up off some grub in order to really utilize the full benefits of StreamYard. Um, in the sense of being able to fully, you can still go. I think you can still use the free version. I'm not 100% sure as far as like what their plans are in the future, but I believe you could still um, use their service for free. But I mean they're growing. They're probably trying to gain some more capital so they can go public. That typically is what happens with startups that are growing and then they increase their prices. So, you figure they should already probably really be public. Some companies are just kind of like mismanaged and they got all kind of growing pains and stuff like that. Well, you think like, okay, Rumble is already public. StreamYard, how many people use StreamYard? They should have already been public. Let me just check to make sure if they have went public yet or not, because I don't necessarily follow the markets like I used to. As far as I can see, they're still private. So basically, a lot of people are, just gonna have very, very limited features. They're not gonna pay for StreamYard, and you could probably include me into that because most likely I am not paying no $45 a month for no damn StreamYard. I mean, I like all all of my hobbies. I like coming on StreamYard and all that crap, but um, that's just gonna open the doors for people that are really creative and people that really use, like, I mean, I'm a tech, so I can pretty much open up OBS a lot more and use that. It's gonna open up other avenues because that's just like, you just when you try to utilize services, or even if you're trying to make money and you're not really feeling the price, you just basically you just basically adapt. It's like the Marines had a saying, adapt and overcome. Basically, evade, adapt and overcome. So that's pretty much what people gonna have to do, because I can see a lot of people not really wanting to pay that, um, especially people that basically not really making that much money on YouTube like that. So that's gonna probably, like, it's really what it's gonna do is I'm gonna share this because they don't show their prices, but I have an account, so I'll I'll just um I'll just upload it so you can see kind of what's going on. Um, so, like, basically that's gonna weed out a lot of people that are kind of like not really serious about things, um, not really in it for genuine purposes or whatever. It's gonna weed out quite a few people. As far as, you're probably gonna see a lot more people kind of like disappear. It's basically kind of like what I can gather, because not everybody is technical and just willing to, or has the know-how to go to different platforms and uh, you know able to use different tech to do live streams. That was the whole purpose of uh, that was the whole purpose of StreamYard. Anybody with a computer and a microphone can start a podcast or whatever, and basically use StreamYard. So let me share my screen real quick and show you kind of more or less what I'm talking about. Um, so you don't just take my word for it. Here we go here. So you can see. basically it's like $45 a month. That's gonna weed out a lot of the people. It went from like I think it was, I don't remember what the prices was, but it was like $30 a month or something like that, $25 a month or $20. Then they just, I just looked at my phone, I mean, and I saw, okay, they charging $45 a month. I was like, oh, okay, okay, I can see what is gonna happen with this. And pretty much this is just the standard plan. It was like they was like back and forth with it because they had it where you could just pay $10 a month, because and you wouldn't have like, so you would have like limited features or whatever. Or I think like you had to basically show the StreamYard logo on your banner, I believe. And they would let you they would let you only pay like uh, $10 a month. But basically now they have it where you have to pay $45 a month for StreamYard. So yeah, that's gonna weed out a lot of people. A lot of people, man. You're just not gonna see them anymore or as much. People may have to fall back and do other things. Um, yes, it's gonna be a lot of people, man, biting the dust on this one, especially in a down economy. Uh, Iran is just going basically trade missiles with Israel, so gas is probably gonna go right back up. Gas was kind of like gas was really going down. In Indiana, it was basically like going in the twos. I mean, I know gas prices vary from different places. You know, it varies, but gas prices are probably. Let's just kind of look at the petroleum prices. Let's see here. Usually, when it's like tension in the Middle East, the prices of gas go up. Especially, the thing is that basically crude prices is affected because it's a possibility that Israel will possibly bomb uh, one of, or if not, any one of the Iranian oil uh, fields, basically. So that will drive the prices up. Definitely, I would say, most likely, because Iran produces a lot of crude on the OPEC market, basically. Iran is one of the largest, basically, crude producers in the world. So if they bomb an oil field, an Iranian oil field, or refinery, that is going to drive the prices of gas up. When I heard about them, trading missiles, I was thinking about just getting filling up because I mean I don't just I like lower gas prices. And one of the things about lower gas prices is gas prices get even lower because what happens is it's kind of like a domino effect. So when gas prices get lower, then people get more gas because they used to getting, basically, you know, whatever they was paying for at the pump. They'll pay probably a little bit more because they get more gas. They could fill up their car for a lot less money, or at least get like a half a tank. Like my car gets about a half a tank with like $15. So uh normally what would take would pretty much get my car at a half a tank, or what I would pay, like if I paid $15, I would only get like maybe a little bit over a quarter of a tank with gas prices how it is now. So if gas prices go up, then basically, it's going to affect a lot of people, and they're going to have to spend more money to buy little amounts of gas. So when gas prices go low, what the after effects of it is, you people buy more gas, so they go longer without having to, fill back up. So then gas prices go lower because what you start noticing is the gas basically the gas stations get like, you don't see too many cars pulling in because everybody got gas. People driving around with a lot of gas, so they don't need to fill up as much. So the gas stations have to be competitive. So they have to lower the gas prices even more. So then once they lower the gas price even more, it's a domino effect, and it just keeps. It's like now, okay, you can just fill up, and then the gas station, just even more empty. It's like they just, they have to be competitive because the other gas stations are in the area. They're also lowering their gas prices. So that's what typically happens when gas prices get lower. You know, I would even say because of this conflict, it's really not gonna, in my opinion, like gas is not gonna just disappear. I would, if I had the money, I would just go ape shit crazy and buy as much oil stock as I possibly can, because it's basically related to a conflict in that high rich oil producing area or part of the world. Eventually, it's gonna settle down. Okay, you got crude stocks for dirt cheap, and it's gonna go back up. A lot of times, what Israel does, they done this in previous elections. During an election, they use that time to, basically kind of like purge. And then after, the new president comes in, the president has to, tell, because Israel is like an attack dog for the United States and the Middle East. Is like a proxy. It's pretty much like a proxy state. You can look at Israel as like Puerto Rico. It's like a proxy state of the United States. And it, Great Britain helps them. So it's like basically they tell a attack dog, heel, or however you say heel in Yiddish. Basically heel, dog. Stop attacking. We're in office. We need peace in order to please the populace. Cool down over there. Heel, sit, ubu, sit. Like that's what typically happens. So you got a lot going on too. You got, man. I mean, the Congo is going through it. The Congo is going through it. Sudan got wars in Ethiopia. Basically, the Horn of Africa is basically also inflamed. Conflicts in Somalia. You got AFRICOM in Somalia. I saw a video of a base in Somalia, or a U.S. Army base or National Guard post getting attacked by the Somalian group Al Shabaab. So it's a lot of shit going on, man. Like geopolitically, man, it's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people in the Congo are fighting over minerals. There's so many minerals in the Congo. The Congo is like, if you ever wanted to closely relate the movie Wakanda to a place, it would be the Congo, because the Congo has all kinds of precious metals, all kind of precious minerals. You name it, they have it right in that particular region. And they've been fighting over that region for what, almost 200 years now, and it's getting very, very intense. People are coming in from all around the world to try to make money and take minerals, and they're fighting and they're funding local militias and basically headhunters to basically ethnically cleanse the natives in the Congo. So it's utterly very, very dark, very, very dark times. Uh, you know, it's a media blackout. Media, you don't even know about it, because the media is a complete media blackout of what's going on in the Congo, what's basically going on in the Horn of Africa, an entire complete media blackout. Even trying. I mean, it's like you wouldn't even know exactly what's going on, other than social media. You wouldn't have a clue what's going on. So it's very, 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 very rough and dark times. It's really sad that evil is found to rest in place, in a lot of parts of the world. And what they do is they black out the media. They don't report what's going on, because people would not like it. If they don't know what is going on, it's nothing for them to not like. So they don't report it. But it's going on. So, again, you got Iran trading missiles with Israel. Basically, Israel trying to penetrate into Lebanon. Uh, it's a problem though, because Israel does not really have the casualties to lose as the other Arab nations. They don't have the casualties to lose. They can't take that many risks as far as casualties, because they don't have that many casualties to risk. So they have to be very strategic in what they do, but ground forces penetrating into these Arab nations is equivalent of you trying to enter a snake den, because you know you got these Arabs that are in heavy numbers, and you might have superior technology, superior weaponry, but you don't have the casualties to lose. So they have to be very, very strategic and what they do, whether the world likes it or not, they do what they can get away with, and they're trying to see if they can get away with trying to go into Lebanon at the moment. So they already have pretty much eliminated a lot of Palestinians and their territories and where they live. Uh, so now they're trying to, you know, deepen themselves into further deepen themselves into that area is called I believe that area is called I forgot what that name is, but it's some it kind of goes into like the Bible and stuff like that. But it's rather interesting. But I would have to say that from a perspective of how I look at things, is interesting because I don't believe it will be successful. I believe it'll be mute. I mean, it will make an impact, but I believe that basically what you will see is the limitations of that particular outpost in Israel, and that those limitations will be reached, and it'll be a situation where the old oligarchs in Israel, the Netanyahu's and the older politicians in Israel will have to basically lose face with basically um, not being successful in what their goals are, and losing support internationally for Israel is going to be the sacrifice that they basically lose and have already lost from that conflict. But that's just one conflict of many. Basically, there is, a power shift that, if you've noticed in the world, there's a power shifting. It's a shifting of power, and it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting, and you seeing it in real time. This shift of power, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I've dropped the link in the chat in case anybody comes up, anybody wants to, talk about, it's open discussions for the most part. Any questions, as long as they're reasonable, uh, and pretty much I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities, and go from there. Another thing that I pretty much am, basically, I just participated in like a Zoom seminar. It was rather interesting. Um, this guy that basically I know from an investment group online. He basically started a Zoom, and he was basically kind of giving away some of his trade secrets on how he finds cryptos and how he invests in cryptos. And I guess he gave out too many links. I think think he's a boomer. Either he's a boomer or a late Gen Xer, and he's not really that savvy with technology, with how to use Zoom and stuff like that. So he gave out the link to so many people, I guess, that somehow or another some trolls, a group of trolls, they basically porn bombed the Zoom. And I mean, I used, I think if I used the online, I wish I would have like used the online version, because I could have like recorded it, because basically, man, these dudes, these nerds, most likely probably incel nerds, they trolled the stream until they, basically got kicked up out of there. They were like putting porn, and they were making gorilla sounds, and uh, just it was just all kind of craziness, and it was weird. It's like, damn, what do people? Why do people do? I mean, they try to do that on YouTube. They try to do that on YouTube as well. Um, One of the things that I noticed, right, is that they only really do it if you get engagement. If you don't get engagement, they really not interested into what you got to say. Or I mean, not so much what you got to say. They're not interested. You're not a target to them. If you get like very, very low engagement, you really don't really have to worry about any trolls. Ain't no trolls popping in. But when you start to get engagement, that entices trolls. You start to get engagement, and you talking, and the conversation flows really well. You basically start to get trolls. You get guys that have no life and just use the internet to try to disrupt people's live streams, and you know try to make fun of people of other cultures and ethnicities and stuff like that. That you can tell. I don't know. I mean, I don't know of a person, of a man that is doing real well in life, that has time to do that or wants to do that. I just don't really see that. I don't see that being something that a man of means has time to do, or gets off on trolling people. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I might be wrong about that. But they porn bomb the live stream with gay porn, um, and all kind of crazy stuff. It was funny though. I will say it was funny. It was hilarious. I mean, I just, it wasn't nothing like, it was, everybody there was damn, pretty much an adult. So it's kind of crazy. But he was talking about some very interesting strategies. I mean, those strategies that he was talking about was extremely, extremely good strategies, very good strategies for trying to, like, he was talking about 10xing your account, and trying to find particular cryptos and how he does it. Um, it was interesting, very, very interesting. So yeah, that was worth the time. That was definitely worth the time. Definitely worth that time to learn, from someone that, he does extreme, like he's a guy that is like retired. He put a lot of money in Dogecoin, made a lot of money, and he he basically does, he finds other cryptos and meme coins to invest in and make money off of. Kind of showed me some different tools you can use. It was very worth it. I would say even if he charged like $20, I probably would have paid it. I would have paid it. If it wasn't even free, like if it was like $20, I would have paid it because it was worth it. I definitely believe that it was worth it. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. So what he was saying, just to kind of give some things to you guys, is going to possibly be a bull run once after the election is over, and the new president, or yeah, it'll be either the new president or the existing president that lost the presidency and is won again. There'll be a bull run after January, and it'll probably die off a little bit before May, and that's on all investments. Now I didn't know that, I didn't necessarily know that, what I'm saying? Like I had no idea that basically there's a bull run on certain things like that. So uh a lot of times I'd have to say it's I don't think that like people don't want to listen to money talk and stuff like that. um I think that's a lot of broke people, a lot of people that are like really, really, really struggling. Really, really, it's a lot of struggling people. It's a lot of people that are like, it's a combination of people that, like, for example, I would say just on the 80, the octane scales, a lot of people are between a range of 85s to 87s. It's a lot of people. I think like in definitely in the black community, the 85s and 87 octanes, and between 85 and 89, is probably not that interested in business talk, financial talk, in like the black community and stuff like that. So they're just not interested, and their wavelengths is on like basic shit. That's like, that's kind of the struggle that I'm having in my new job. Like I work around a lot of 87 octane type of guys that have basically blue collar jobs, because what I'm doing is like a blue collar job, and they just they not on the wavelength to understand anything like computer related. While I'm working there, like they like even my manager, he was talking to me. He was like he thinks that I'm gonna just get another IT job, and I'm gonna leave the company or whatever, leave the job. And he kind of, he's got common sense. A lot of people that are 87 octanes and whatnot, they have a lot of common sense though. It's not every one of them. They have a lot of common sense, and the common sense is, yeah, like dude with like 15 plus years of IT experience, yeah, as soon as I get a job, as soon as I get somebody to be like, can you start tomorrow? I'm out of there. I mean, but things don't happen like that. Things tend to not happen like that. You got to go on an interview and got to go through background checks and drug tests and all of that. It's like, I mean, it's not like it used to be like that where you could just get a job like right away and you can like start right away. It's just not like that anymore. You got to go through a little bit or a lot of red tape to get a job. You know what I mean? But I work around a lot of these guys, and a lot of times, man, I have found myself that it's better to just kind of be more quiet. You know, it's better to be quiet because when you start talking to these guys, they don't understand what you're talking about. They don't understand like anything related to anything like highly technical on a level like that. Now, these guys install gas meters though. They know about how to install a gas meter, which is definitely technical. And you better know what you're doing or you're gonna be in trouble. But when it's talking about taking out a motherboard on a laptop and all that stuff I was doing in my last job that I've been doing for decades, like almost they don't really, I have to be quiet. And a lot of times when you start to talk about what you've done, they don't even want to hear about this shit because they don't want to be outshined. You're outshining someone when you talk about how great you are and all of that. But the thing is this: these people between 85s and 89s, they don't really want to hear about anything related to finance, anything like that, because generally they're into like entertainment, folly, um, just kind of like stuff that you really don't have to think about. You don't really have to like take notes and shit like that, and um it's it is what it is. Now I'm not saying that people can't listen or pay attention and stuff like that, but they just really not interested, into stuff like that, and this chart right here, the people that I'll tell you right now, the people that typically rock with me really well is between wise and broke, and that's pretty much the range of people that really rock with me. The dummy with money, he's not rocking with me too much, or not at all. He probably these people probably. Let me see if I can I annotate. Let me see if I can. Nah, I don't really need to do all of that. Um, these people, the dummy with no money, they're definitely, these are the people that go in and live stream and they go out. They're looking for entertainment. The dummies with money, they're looking for entertainment. They already have money. They're trying to have fun. They're not trying to listen because they already have money, so they believe the fact that you don't really have that much money, or they got more money than you. They're like, what the fuck am I listening to this fool for? This guy here, which encompasses most people, the dummy with no money, they're doing the same thing the dummy with money does. The dummy with no money, they're looking for folly, entertainment, enjoyment, uh, constant, uninterrupted fun and pleasure. They're definitely not interested in any, um, you know, trying to improve themselves and trying to make any money. The dummy with no money, these are like the dummy with money. They're coming, they'll click on your content and leave really quick. They're trying to see if it's something they're looking for, basically some type of rush of entertainment to just kind of soothe their their basically their nerves. They're trying to find some type of enjoyment. These people are looking for argument. They're looking for some video of some people arguing, going back and forth with each other. You know, that's the range of people like this. The people primarily that rock with me are my counterparts and whatnot between wise and broke. The wise and rich, they might cloud watch. They probably these are the cloud watchers. They're trying to get stuff to make them richer. They're trying to soak up, information. You don't know, like you like Facebook. I mean, hey, Zuckerberg, that's one of the things he got right, right? Instagram, Facebook, you can see who's watching you on Facebook. You go live on Facebook, you can see who's watching you. You can at least see who the person is. Now, they might have a fake account or something. They might, have some fake account that they use, but you can technically, if they're not using a fake account or whatever, you can see who's watching you on Facebook, on Instagram. You can see the account. Oh, this person watched me. This person viewed me. Blah 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 blah. Like YouTube is a completely anonymous platform, so you have no idea who's watching you. You having a very kind of modest content or content or channel, these people are watching you, the wise and rich, like, or even just the rich, they're watching you. Like entertainers are watching you, celebrities, um, sports dudes are watching you because you got to understand you probably had some content where you were talking about them or you was talking about somebody they know or they interested in you, but they can't come out and show their interest because whatever reason it is. So they just cloud watch. These people at the top, that's why, that's kind of one of the reasons probably they're at the top. These people love to cloud watch. These people are all in the clouds, you know, all watching your content, taking notes. These people do the same thing, wise and broke. They do the same thing every now and again. I get it. Sometimes you want to be anonymous. You're not in the mood for conversations, discussions, or to be acknowledged or whatever like that. Just not into they're not into that. But yeah, these people down here, these are the people that will probably most likely like these are the trolls. This is the troll zone. Dummy with no money, that's the troll zone. Those are the people that troll, that go to people's content, go to people's channel and waste up space. Like if you got like a bounty, if you had like a panel where people pay a bounty and kick people off, the dummy with no money tends to be the people that get kicked off because they come on people's channels and then their panels and just be saying some of the most stupid crap that you've ever heard. They make no sense. They probably high or drunk and high, and then they just basically taking wasting up space. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Um, they're like they act like or they're really really slow, like really delayed, and they're only the reason why they're on your channel is because you have engagement. You have other people that are engaging with you. If you had no engagement, they wouldn't probably really talk to you unless you had previous engagement and they're just, they're getting their time to shine by talking to you. So that's one of the things that I've noticed, that's over the years of me being online and watching things and stuff like that. So um yeah, people like this are not they're not interested in in your particular content because they're not looking for improvement. These are the people that are looking for the next score, the next opportunity to make some money so they can blow it. They're not looking for no steady growth opportunity, no 10x strategy, none of that. They're not interested in any of that. Even some of those people, they don't have the particular way to input that. They just can't really input that. You know, it's not to demean these people. I'm not trying to demean these people. Some of these people just always have to go back to the movie The Lawnmower Man. The Lawnmower Man is a very good quote unquote like red pill movie, or even you can say black pill movie, because the Lawnmower Man explains how you can go from being basically mildly retarded to highly intelligent. And it basically predicted, that movie is one of those movies that predicted the future. It's called the Lawnmower Man. It was filmed in the 80s. It's like a Lawnmower 4. I think Lawnmower Man Floor 4 is it was filmed in the like early 90s. By that time, he was so intelligent, he was basically a cyborg. Um he basically he was inside the computer at that point. So um, you know, that's very, very interesting. But the thing about money, or the thing about riches, right, that I find interesting, a lot of people do make it seem very, very easy to attain. And one of those individuals, um, you know, this woman here is quite interesting, a quite interesting case study. Um, Very, very interesting case study because she made all of this money here reportedly in like 3 years, $67 million on OnlyFans, and she says she's announced her retirement. This chick is actually from it says she's from Illinois, Palatine, Illinois, which is like the it's like the it's like the northwest suburb of Chicagoland area. Uh, it's very, very interesting, to it kind of like it's very interesting because when you go to this chart here, the dummy with no money, it's not that he has no money at all. It's not like it's a wide, you know, when I say dummy with no money, right? I mean, technically, the only people that really have money, right, is the dummy with money and the wise and rich, right? The dummy with no money is really like very similar to the wise and broke. He got a little money. Like if you're broke, it just means you got a lot of debt and you got more liabilities than the assets. The dummy with no money is just basically, you know, the 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 dummy that's broke. You know, that's really what that means. and they have a job. They have, multiple jobs. They just broke. They just don't really. They're not rich. They're not, wealthy. They're not rich, right? So they got a lot of money though, like in a sense of they waste a lot of money. They waste a lot of money because they really don't, they don't know what they're doing. They're dumb, right? So you got to understand, right? You got over 300, let's see, I think like it's out of the 300 million people that's in the United States and growing and counting, 200 million or so of those people are adults. You got to understand, and definitely in this country being like kind of turning into an idiocracy, right? The dummies that are broke, the broke dummies, it's a rising trend, and also it is a lot of people in America. It's a big percentage. Okay, if I have to say, let's say for a rule of thumb, all right. Okay, so this is the statistic of how many Americans are in debt. How many Americans are technically broke? 77%. And it does not, this is all Americans, whatever, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. All Americans. 77%. So you gotta understand, salute, bro. Salute. Link is in the description if you got time or whatever, if you're interested. So you got 77% of Americans that are in debt. Okay, these are updated statistics. Only 23% of Americans are debt free. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean they're rich. It's just 23% of Americans are debt free. So 77% are in debt from some sort of thing. Now, you got serious debt and you got light debt, or let's just say heavy debt and light debt. Light debt is like, I got a car, I got a couple credit cards that's less than, like, let's just say five, maybe even $10,000. I got a couple past due collections. That's like light debt. Heavy debt is like, $50,000 through loans, $150,000 mortgage balance, you know, 80,000 in car loan balances from, let's say you and your wife have a car, you pay all of the bills or whatever, most of them, and that's heavy debt. It's a variance of how many people have heavy debt versus how many people have, light debt, you know. So the thing is that 77% of Americans just are in debt, from some form or fashion, whether it be heavy or light. And only 23% of Americans are uh, debt free. Okay. And it's only 1%. It's only 1% of Americans that are millionaires that, in order to qualify for uh, to be upper class, there's a wide range. Some people say 100,000 plus is the entry. Some people say 500,000. Most people overall agree that a million plus is definitely um, that statistic of, basically 1%. To be in the 1%, to be in the 1% varies from where you are, from where you live. If you live in Virginia, being 1% will require more than probably a million plus. Being in Ohio would be less than what you would need to be 1% in Virginia. So it varies from state to state, but that's the statistics of what that is. Now the thing is that again, you got a lot of people. I would have to say, let me see here. Um, let's wipe this out. How many people I would say that are dummies with no money? People, Glorilla fans, Sexy Red fans. Uh, who else? People that get BBLs. Who else would be considered in a dummy with no money? Let's call it all the way out. Uh, people that just a lot of various different people. Whoever supports drill music, real heavy. You know, I would say dummies with no money, and I include, and this is all inclusive. This is man and woman, right? Dummies with no money, I would have to say, percentage wise, account for what would I have to say the percentage if I had to do a rough estimate on the percentage of adults that are dummies with no money in America. I would have to say roughly about 60%. 60%. And this also includes the trailer trash white people that vote against their interests, that they, as long as they could be racist, it does not matter that they make like really below wages from some company, from some people, from the same white people that won't empower them to get rich. As long as they collectively feel as though because they're white that they're better than other people, it's like all of that type of shit, just weirdo crazy ideologies. Like, it's like I think, what was that president? I think it was President Lyndon B. Johnson. He was quoted saying that as long as I could make, this was like part of the Southern strategy. He said, as long as I could make a poor white man, in, let's just say, Alabama, feel as though, basically he's important because he's white, he'll give him his last dollar out of his pocket to support me, because I feed that pride of him being better than the next man, even though he's dirt poor, just living like house is fully complete and living like it, just in squalor in some trailer park. As long as I can make that man or woman feel as though they're better than somebody else, they'll give me the last dollar in their pocket to support me. Yeah, those are dummies with no money. Because the smart dummy or the smart person that's in that scenario, they could see it for whatever the fuck it is. Nobody gives a fuck about me and wherever I live, even my own kind or my own people. And I'm just gonna focus on me and mine, and I'm gonna get the fuck on up out of here. and I'm gonna remember who didn't give a fuck about me. And whoever gave a fuck about me and helped me, no matter who the fuck, color, if a fucking dog or a cat helped my ass, I'm gonna appreciate those people and those, creatures. You know, common fucking sense, but common sense is not common. So again, dummies with no money account for, I would say, definitely roughly about 60%. And why is this so hot? This is pretty hot. Why would you say it's so hot? It's definitely comparative to this here, and it's not quite that, but it is definitely it's a correlation with 60% because you got to understand you got to be a goddamn fool to continuously make other people rich and you stay broke and you stay poor. You got it, hands down, hands up. You gotta be a fool for that one. You gotta be a fool to support, people that make you entertain you and give you folly, and then they form some movement, and then you paying all this money and you get nothing in return. You get nothing. You still broke. And then you fund some dude to scam you. You got all you funded all of these scam artists. They don't do shit for your ass. You make everybody else their life wonderful while your life is fucking shit. You're a fucking fool. Like my father was just like Alonzo. He was an Aries. And one of the most, like, I used to hurt my soul if my daddy called me a fool. If he said I was a fool because I did something, that used to hurt me, man. I used to hurt me really, really hard. Because it's like, what the hell? Like, yeah. And then I look at what I did. Damn, that was stupid. Why the fuck did I do that shit? Damn, I am a fucking fool. And it's like, yeah, like a lot of people, they didn't have parents that tell them they was a goddamn fool for whatever the fuck they did. And then they grow up and then they don't have that accountability. And then if somebody called them a fool, they damn near probably want to pull out his gun and shoot them because they just didn't get that harshness of reality. You did something stupid, boy. Why did you do that? That is dumb. Like, if I probably said that to my daughters, they probably cry. But you got to tell them what they did, or they'll grow up and thinking they're doing everything great. Knowing that these people that have these families that have intergenerational well, I was going to say welfare. Some of them do too. It's like Freudian slip, man. Man, that's on to something. That's a topic within itself. Intergenerational welfare, because you know, government does give welfare to the elite too. Brett Favre, and that ain't even just Brett Favre. I mean, point two, 2008 bailout. Okay, AIG, everyone. Um, basically knowing this elite just percentage right here, or even not knowing it, knowing the wealthiest, very, 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 very much on Mount Olympus. They're on the tallest skyscraper in the world. I think it's in Dubai, looking down with the amount of wealth that they fucking have. And you enrich them every single fucking day with your purchases and your wasteless, blindless purchases. You got to be a motherfucking fool. Can't be no other thing than a fool to make everybody else richer than your ass. You have to be. You got to understand that. So when I see shit like this here, I'm like, wow, this is fucking impressive. Fucking impressive, man. This white blonde, rare blonde with look like, I don't know, like maybe gray eyes, maybe blue eyes, amber eyes, very very rare features, have utilized the dummies and got shit rich off of them. God, dog, this shit is fucking impressive, man. Fucking impressive. Man, that shit is fucking impressive. I mean, I just can't help but be impressed, man. Someone that capitalized on all the simps, the simp dummies with no money, the simps with money, the dummies with money, and made shit tons of money off of these fools. I just, for all of the fucking shit that I know about OnlyFans, it's pretty much married fans. All of these, house husbands and husbands of like that support OnlyFans, the dummies with the countless dummies with no money, the dummies with money. This woman that made 60 fucking 7,000, 70 million. See, I can't even, it boggles my fucking brain to think about it. I can't even say it because it's like it's unfucking real. Unreal. In 3 years. Her worst month, she made $600,000. That was her bad month. A bad month, she made $600,000 in 1 month. In 1 fucking month. That shit crazy. That is wild. When you understand how to make money off of these dummies, that is what you fucking, that's the fucking, goddamn it, ultimate fucking play. Like that's the shit you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Be like, you ever watch Dexter's Laboratory? He in the basement trying to build some type of concoction or whatever the fuck. Like that's the shit right there that you gotta, man, you gotta make money off of these money. Now, okay, I'm not gonna say that I would, simps. I believe in some wise simps. I believe it's some wise and broke people too. They was fucking jagging off to this fucking, basically about, I give her about a 6 or a 7, blonde with rare features. They was jagging off to this broad, man. This broad had pretty much, let's just say it, she had this whole pyramid, $67 million. She had this whole motherfucking pyramid, man. She didn't have me. She didn't have me, boy. She did not have me. Unless I saw a clip on Twitter. She didn't have me, bro. I promise you she didn't have me. I don't fuck with OnlyFans. I have seen some shit for free for, chick had a free OnlyFans. I am cheap when it comes to that type of shit. It's easy. It's easy for me to be cheap because, one, to be honest, I know I can get white women. I'm not really that enthralled by it. I know I can get them. That's one thing. But the other thing is porn itself. I mean, one, I know I can actually not only have a woman if I wanted. Why would I pay for porn? I don't like. I really don't hear conversations like that. Like, why would I pay for porn? Why would anybody else pay for porn? Why would I? That shit is unreal to me. But you gotta understand, the internet was built off of dick pills and porn. Can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? Does anybody know me? Know the what how the internet started? Anybody remember? I promise to you. I promise you, I was around when the internet just started. I was a teenager.
Message.
The internet was dick pills and porn. The first credit card processor. There's a movie about it. I can't remember the movie to save my life. I saw it. The first credit card basically application that was invented was based off of guys being able to pay for porn. All of the Apple Pay and all this other Pay and Square, Cash App, and all of that was invented based off of being able to buy online porn with your credit card. Some smart guy came out with some idea or application to put it on the web for you can just take out your credit card and basically input the numbers to primarily be able to buy porn on the internet. And that was like in the late 90s, over 20 years ago. And it has not changed. It is full explosion, full peak, full peak. And you got to understand, these people are very, very quiet. They will never tell you. They won't tell you what they do behind closed doors. And it's a lot of these people. It's women that even subscribe. You got a lot of women that are lesbians, a lot of women that are into women. They subscribe to OnlyFans. They like to support women's OnlyFans. Some of the women that have OnlyFans, they subscribe to other women's OnlyFans to study how to make more money. So they're, supporting OnlyFans creators to basically figure out what they can do to make more money from their OnlyFans. It's a lot of things that is involved with that. But again, I gotta call it out of basically someone that was able to capitalize on the amount of simps in the world and dummies with no money, because she didn't just make money off of Americans. I'll just she made OnlyFans is all over the world. Anyone that website's platform takes payments off of. So that could be just about anywhere damn near. So I mean, it's a lot of people, in the world that are so sexually desperate, they're willing to pay for a subscription for some chicks OnlyFans. I always looked at myself, even in my downest days and moments in life. I always know what one. I'm pretty cheap, so that's primarily why I don't really mess with OnlyFans. As far as women, I've had moments where I was really I was like kind of thirsty, stuff like that. I'm definitely not in that mode now. Um, but even in that moment, I just shit at the very most watch some porn. I wouldn't be paying. I ain't paying for no porn. You step outside of porn. Some people go to strip clubs. Strip club is just a brothel for the most part. Or they buy an escort online. I don't really like strip clubs, but I don't like fucking with escorts and hoes because it's just. I mean, I'll say it's a lot better than fucking paying for some OnlyFans shit though, because like at least you get to fuck the bitch. A fucking OnlyFans at best, you watching another motherfucker bust his load, getting pleasure. You watching another motherfucker get pleasure. You know what that's like? That's like watching a motherfucker get rich. Like watching a motherfucker making a whole bunch of money. I mean, it's not bad people do it, but imagine watching a motherfucker and it's a whole and actually it's a niche industry. It's a niche actual that's a niche actual part of content of just basically kind of showcasing, rich guys showcasing. A lot of dudes on YouTube, that's what they do. They the all of these like rich dudes, like what Jake, the Paul brothers, those type of guys. That's really what you're doing. Even Andrew Tate. That's what you're doing. Watching them guys. You watching them guys. Basically, you're seeing. It's like the equivalent of watching them seeing what they came like they already came and you see the results of it. Like it's like you watching another motherfucker get rich, but it's a certain level of inspiration that comes from that. But that's the same thing. You're not paying for it. You're not paying to watch. You're not paying to watch it. Most likely an Andrew Tate video, the Jake Paul video. You're not paying for that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Them dudes, they have those live stream portals and shit, and people donate to them and all of that. And it's kind of crosses into that layer where you're kind of like it's kind of similar, but I don't look at it as similar to like OnlyFans. You're supporting someone that you are a fan of or you're inspired by, not you try, what I'm saying, you go on OnlyFans, you trying to watch a bitch, spread eagle, trying to see, what she got. But you gotta understand, this is what this is another thing that I thought of. A lot of times you be thinking too hard. You be trying too hard because you gotta understand this is what I don't think this is made up at all. I think this is the exact figures. She made that. She could have made $6.7 million. I would still be impressed. It would be $6.7 million. I'd still be impressed. It's some chicks making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they ain't gotta work. They don't. All they gotta do is stay out of trouble, and they making money off of OnlyFans. Okay, uh, then that's just one avenue that they're doing. And it's like they're making money off of a lot of dummies. And the thing is that when I say you trying too hard, you got to understand that you are trying too hard. These guys, these mostly guys, mostly married guys, are making these people rich as fuck. And it's like that's just one way they do it, right? But or are doing that. But it's like it just kind of like it begs the question: one, how can I make money off of these dummies? That's where pimps come in, to be honest. That's where pimps was like, man, I got to make money off of all of these fucking dummies, man. I gotta give me a bitch to make some money off of these dummies. All of these simps, I gotta make some money. I gotta get me some bitches so I can make some money off of all these goddamn idiot ass simps that's so thirsty for some goddamn pussy, for a shot of pussy. I gotta give me a bitch to make some money off of me. I can't myself, because that's going into you know
no diddy. You understand what I'm saying?
But it's like, man, I gotta get these bras, man, you know. But it's like, yeah, it's crazy, you know. I mean, it's so many thirsty ass simps in this fucking world, man, in this country. It's just wow. And it's like you working too hard. You working yourself to the bone, and and it's like all these simps, you know, all of these simps. I mean, they just, it's like they growing like mold. They just, you know, they simping at fucking, they mama training them to be a simp at 3 years old, you know. Then they just, by the time they turn 18, they just like super simps. And it's like, damn, you trying hard, you trying so hard. And it's like, you know, you got a whole goddamn simp army out here making everybody else rich, and you haven't tapped into how to tap into that. Or you just trying way too hard, knowing all of these simps out here, all these idiots out here is, you know, they there, they in existence. It's like it's like it's like goddamn, it's like you got all these people, man, and you're you know what I'm saying? And it's like what? It's like 40% of the other people, you know, and then you got 60% of simps. It's like, okay, or you know, not all that 60% of simps. It's like 60% of people that's dummies with no money, right? But you know, how many percentage of those are simps? Huh? Probably half, definitely half. But you know, it's like, man, you know, all these people, man, you know, like StreamYard. I talked about StreamYard earlier. I'm good. I'm cool. I'm cool, StreamYard. You ain't, you ain't got to worry about me, player. You ain't got to worry about me, bro. I'm good. That $45, you can keep that shit. I'm good, bro. I don't. I'm a. You know, I'm a gracefully, you know, decline that option next month. You know what I'm saying? But and they going, and here's the thing, I didn't even think about this. They're gonna lose a lot of money from that. Yeah, yeah, they're gonna that is opening up opportunities for other competitors to step in. That is going to open up a massive amounts of people that are going to decline their description or subscription, because it's just, you know, in this type of economy and stuff like that, that's, it's not going to be a lot of people that's going to be willing to pay that amount. So I don't know. They probably had a meeting about this and they decided to do this. You know, obviously they do things in a test run, but yeah, StreamYard is going to lose, you know, a lot of subscribers because of that for sure. Um, I don't know. It might be disastrous. They might be able to recover from it. You know, they don't have me as no subscriber anymore. It's so fucked up. You know what I did? I just canceled my debit card because I got quite a few things that I just, you know, I was like, man, let me just cancel my debit card, man, get another card, because it's like that way I deal with all of the subscription bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You know, all this bullshit that I really, you know, it kind of gives me a time to like restructure. Do I really want this? Do I really want this? And then I'm gonna tell you why I cancel my debit card. So what companies do, what portals do that you subscribe to and shit, they're sneaky. A lot of people get class action lawsuits all over. Every year is a new class action lawsuit, because companies, in order to make money, they're blowing through capital. They need money. That's why they are raising subscriptions and trying to find ways to make money, because they're you know, every company does not know how to manage money. That's what you got to understand. That's why companies go out of business all the time. It's what, you know. That's what happened to WeWork. They blow through money. They don't manage the money. They having hookers and coke parties, and you know they doing, you know, Diddy parties and shit like that too. that you just don't really know of or think about because they're not necessarily technically celebrities, but they're, like fraternity bros and all of that type of shit, that they have coke parties and stripper parties at these little corporate, parties and shit like that. The executives, have, and they blowing through this money that they get from, basically private funding from like class A, class B, class C rounds of funding um, rounds that they do, and that money is supposed to basically, for, let's just say you're an angel investor, you fund this company, you get parts of shared ownership in this company. If it goes public, you make money once that company goes public and the stock goes up. So that's how that works. That's why companies, that startups, do rounds of funding so they can get the revenue, and the the agreement of getting that funding is they give the potential investor some shares of the ownership of that company. They go public or they sell the company, they get the money in return from their investment. Now, we work, it's like a lot of companies, the investors lose money. They have to file a loss on their corporate taxes because they lost money on an investment, obviously. Because a lot of companies, a lot of these guys are drug addict, cokeheads that mismanage money, and they, doing all kind of shit. They doing fentanyl, and you don't know what these people are doing. They appear like they're regular people, but behind closed doors, they're Epicurean drug addicts and alcoholics and all kind of shit. And they mismanage funds. It just so happens they fit the corporate image. They talk the corporate talk. They, have privileges, and they are able to get the funding, but you know they're not, no Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger or, Square guy that just really is into accountability and finance and fiduciary responsibilities and corporate, mandates and all that shit. A lot of people, they don't really, one, know how to really fund a company or manage a company or start a company or get it off the ground or grow it. They're trying to learn as they fly the plane. It's like not every company makes it. It's a lot of companies fail because they make terrible decisions. So I don't know what's going to happen to this, but all that aside, I'm very impressed by this. I'm, I'm impressed like a motherfucker about this chick, man. And I don't really, support OnlyFans and all that shit. Like, I ain't really into that. But when I saw this, man, I was impressed like a motherfucker. I was like, God damn, somebody, it's a lot of people that's making money off of these, dumbass men, these simps. You know what I'm saying? They making a killing, off these simps, man. These thirsty simps, and it's like, I wish I was younger. I wish I knew. See, I didn't know anything about simps and shit when I was younger. When I was in high school, I saw things. I saw people and just doing goofy shit with women and shit. One of my homies, that he wasn't my homie, but he was somebody I grew up with. Um, he was. It was weird. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and he was in a gang. Um, he was, passionately in love with some local chick that's in my home, from my hometown, in Dalton, Illinois. This fool, I guess, because they broke up or something, he went to her door and pulled out a gun and was about to shoot her. And I don't know, for some reason or another, the gun jammed or something, and he pulled it out on himself, and then it didn't jam. He blew himself away. I mean, I don't know exactly how the story went. It was just something where he committed suicide and died over a fucking bitch. And I just never forgot that. I was in my early 20s, I think, or mid 20s at the time, and that just always stuck to me, you know. And I mean, like I said before, I was like, every men and women go through their own heartbreak stories. Even a pimp gets his heart broke. I mean, it's a human emotion, man. It's a human condition. You gonna get your heart broke. You know what I'm saying? It happens for men and women. It just, some people handle it different than others, but yeah, some dudes, man, it goes so deep, they fucking off themselves, man, over a fucking bitch, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's shit crazy, man. It happens, but like I said, I wish I was younger and I knew how deep the rabbit hole went with these simps. I didn't understand it like that. I didn't, I used to look at my family on my mom's side primarily. I used to look up to them like, damn, damn, that shit cool and everything. Then I come to find out when I get older, they really just really just simps. You know what I'm saying? Like most of them. Like I think the only one that no, they all had that simp chip. All yep. Most of my yeah, most of my basically family members, uncles, I have to say, in some form or fashion, just long term, lifelong simps. If they wife say jump, they gonna jump twice. It's like, man, I thought that shit was like, I used to look up to that. Like, I was like, oh, damn, that's the way to go. I grow up, I get older, I'm like, the older I get, the more I realize how goofy and stupid that shit is. And most men with any fucking backbone don't act like that. My daddy did, thank God. My daddy did not act like that. And he was an example, he was an outlier that I could fucking real world see that you don't fucking act like that. Um, and it's like, man, uh, I wish I would have known. If I had, it's like one of those things, like, when I talk about my book, The Millionaire Savings Plan, and I say I wish I would have known this shit when I was younger. I wish I would have knew about the Millionaire Savings Plan when I was like 15 and 16. How much far ahead that I would be if I would have known about that. And it's like I think the same way about like simps and like that, because I just didn't know it. When we was young, we called it being pussy whipped. That's what we call, like, it was called you pussy whipped. Look at him, he all hugged up to her, you pussy whipped. That's what we called it. But is at least you getting some pussy, but it's like it gets deeper. Like it's like dudes ain't even getting no motherfucking pussy. It's like, man, they going crazy. And this thing still showing. This showing my whole fucking name just right there, just right there for the whole world to see. Let me sign the fuck up on out of here, man. Shit. But the thing is that, man, simps, man, I just didn't know it was just that deep. I didn't know how deep that was, like as far as how many simps it was, and just the level of how deep, like I say, the rabbit hole goes with how many desperate men there are. That's why women look. You ever seen a woman look at men or look at you, and she looks, and that's why women think men are so stupid. That's one of the reasons why, because they done seen so many simps in their life. They done dealt with so many simps. They seen so many simps. They just inundated with it, and that's why they just be looking. That's why they be just the way they act, the whole like behavior, like the whole concept of like just how women are and how they look at men and how they just don't even respect them and all of that type of shit. It's based off of all of these thirsty ass simps that's like lemons that's just falling over the cliff. And it's like it's just wild because if when I was younger, if I knew like how in depth this was, if like somebody like really talked to me and told me like about like men and how thirsty they actually are and how many of them they are, I would have known, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like the thing with me is, I mean, I definitely ended up, once, I got out of high school and stuff, kind of to a certain level being a simp, you know. A lot of guys I would say probably are some form or another a reformed simp. If, I mean, I guess. I mean, only they know what they do behind closed doors. But the thing is that I never thought, oh man, she broke up with me. Let me go get a gun and blow myself away. Like, I mean, I've had some breakups, man. It was like, man, I really like that chick, man. I really, eventually you move on, man. You get somebody else, Um, the more experiences that you have, the more, it's just like, okay, well, it is what it is. But I guess, if you just, I don't know, like maybe it has something to do with religion or something too, or something. I don't know. I mean, it just, some dudes just they just jump off a cliff over a chick, man. you know, um, it happens, man. And some, dudes that do know, they look at dudes like that, like, oh man, they look at you. It's like they like a dude that can see you as so you getting taken advantage of by a woman. They see it. They damn near probably fucking your bitch. And they looking at you like they can see through your ass. Like they can see, they know women. They done been with quite a few women. You know, they can see through you, like, and they looking at you like, huh? You let her do this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and you like, and they looking like they looking through you, like, you weak over this bitch, and it's like they just looking at you, like, and then it's like they see the weakness in you. It's like, um, and they waiting for the argument to happen or something. So they can say, you weak bitch ass mother. That's why I fucked your bitch. But the thing is that, yeah, that's what they do. That's what they see, and it's just for one reason or another, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It just, it's so many men, man, that just fall from grace, man. Just be worshiping women, man. They worshiping. I mean, it's all, it's crazy, man. It's wild. Um, I I just I'm thankful that I am reformed. I mean, I'm not, man, damn near like, man, I ain't on that. Like, I mean, even if I tried to be on that, if it's not reciprocal, it ain't gonna work. Because what makes a simp, he's not getting reciprocation. I mean, traditional love and I care about you and affection and we gonna rule the world together. And I mean that goes back thousands of years. But If it's not reciprocal, that definitely is what makes you a fucking simp. And when you're just into women that much, like, I don't know. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, there's some pretty women in the world. There's some sexy women in the world. You know, I mean, should you form some type of hive collective and make them rich off of funding the money? I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's why you got strip clubs. I did the video on the simp economy. I mean, that's what you got, strip clubs. That's why you got OnlyFans. Um, I I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just not that thirsty where I'm just gonna go. Like I was doing like a lot of reasons why I ain't that to much of a degree of a simp. I hung with a dude that, him and his brother, his daddy pretty much was like a drug dealer, a Mac, and they were like young players, and I hung with them because the guys that I grew up with, they was kind of like, to me, they was kind of like simps to me in a way. Like I was like, all I do is hang on this one block that I grew up with these guys and just play basketball every day. Or I just go with these guys from a couple blocks away and they trying to talk to broads and, trying to get with some chicks and shit. And then I think, yeah, at the time that definitely was a version. So I was like, nah, I'm not about to hang on this block with these fucking guys that I really don't get along with. That you know, we grew up together, and some of them I fought. It's like let me just go with these guys, and then I learned how to talk to women, how to in a way kind of even manipulate women, how to get what I want, and it was like, yeah, I just made a choice of who I hung with, and because I wanted something different. I didn't want to be no traditional simp, traditional American simp. And that's what happened. And I'm glad I made that choice because um, I definitely I've had my problems with women. I mean, even those guys, they had tons of problems with women because picking the wrong women, picking these women here, even them being themselves, not being the best man, not being the best version of a man that you could possibly be, dealing with strags, and then you yourself being a strag, because it's men are strags too. So it was like basically I had a immersion of not having to be a fucking simp, just waiting for a broad to somewhat like me, and then I just fall for everything she wants. It's just like, I mean, that type of shit. Like, no, I just didn't fall for that. That's not what I did. And I had my moments where I was, probably more of a player. And then I was like, this shit goofy because I don't even like talking on the phone like that. And talking on the phone with multiple women and, you know, thinking one time I was dealing with like 5 different chicks at one time. I was like, man, this shit lame. I'd rather just at the most talk to two, and that's probably all I can really handle. After that, to me, it just gets too goofy. But different strokes for different folks. Um, I learned a lot later, man. To just weed out certain women, man. It's just not gonna work, man. The worst thing you could do, man, is pick the wrong woman, boy. You know, you that's like one of the worst things you could do. Promise you, that's the worst thing. One of the worst things you could do, and it happens. It happens to a lot of men. You know, picking the wrong one. You know, because um, you know, you just haven't. You know what I'm saying? I keep my notes and shit on here. You know, you haven't done this. You know, vet, verify, and validate. You know, you haven't vetted the chick. You haven't really found out about it. Why? Because you want the pussy so fucking bad. You haven't even vetted this chick. You don't know if she got fucking disease. You don't know if she got some nigga she fucking with that's she live with that is a crash out. You know, you haven't verified anything. You haven't validated her, like, you know, asked other people, did a background check on this broad. You don't know who this broad is, man. You know, like I ain't gonna lie, like shit, I was going when I was going in the military, I wanted to be a spy. I wanted to be a fucking intelligence you know, specialist or whatever. And one of the things about that is it's women that are intelligence officers and shit like that. And one of the things that they are taught to use is their looks, their feminine wiles to get their target. And that target could be your ass. You know, and if you're so weak for a bitch, guess what? Bitch kill you because you so weak for a broad. You become an easy target. You know, you watch the movie Harlem Nights. You know what I'm saying? That you know kind of goes into that. You know, and that's not even that. That's like the gangster world. The gangster world or the you know criminal world is very similar. I mean, they send women all the time to hit marks. That's why you ever see a ghetto chick, she got teardrops on her eyes. It's no different than men. She done killed the motherfucker. She got bodies, and it ain't abortions. She done kill actual niggas, actual men. You know, that's what that means. You don't see you're not street smart because you know there's another thing. Like, you know, a lot of people ain't street smart because you know it just is what it is. They were sheltered, you know, they, you know, didn't have to, you know, latchkey kids and shit like that. And you know, one of the things, man, is just, you know, and also they probably, you know, some people were in a middle upper class environment. They wasn't around people like that. You know, unfortunately, my parents had a little money, but they didn't have a lot of money, and I was around a mixed variety of, you know, different people in all walks of life. And then I lived in Chicago, and you're gonna see a lot of shit living in Chicago, and that's women that got teardrops under their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I don't know what the little heart mean. You know what I think? What the little heart mean? You ever seen a broad ghetto chick that got the heart under her eye? I think that means she killed the dude. I'd have to admit, just common sense, that heart meant she had to kill her boyfriend or whoever, somebody that she was really close to. You know, I mean, like I say, I mean, I play chess, man. The queen is one of the most dangerous pieces on the chessboard. And when I play, you done seen me play chess. And I lose that queen, that shit is fucking this. It's rough. Sometimes I can win, but shit, hey, most times when I take the opponent's queen, they give up, they resign. They immediately resign because they know they're at a huge disadvantage without that queen. You know, so it's deep, man. It's deeper than Nino Brown for sure. You know, it's deep. It's way deeper than the weather, sports, and what's on TV. You know, especially when you're trying to move up the ladder. You're trying to, you know, be an elite or whatever. That world is it is very, very very way out. If you thought, okay, I don't want you to think, let's say you get a whole bunch of money miraculously, you get to a certain level, and you think that, oh, yeah, these people are so cool and they're rich and, they're well to do. They're still people. It's not, no, the people in the ghetto, like I'm in the ghetto, right? Right now, I'm in the ghetto. Rich people don't act different, that much different than people in the ghetto. I don't care if you, whatever race you want to talk. They're humans. They have very similar behaviors. They hide it better. Basically, probably they're more good at hiding things. But behind closed doors, you got to understand those people all the way up at the top on this chart here. They're doing all kinds of crazy diabolical shit, and you got to understand they got money to do it and possibly get away with it. I mean, doing all kind, and that's one of the reasons that people are actually scared to get rich or get wealthy and be around those people, because those people are very, very. If you thought the most gangster dude in the hood is wicked and crazy, and you don't, you know what I'm saying, you scared of them or some shit. Just imagine someone like that that's extremely rich that lives, you know, around the other rich people. It's the same shit. It's just a different, it's just a different environment. And they doing all kinds of wicked, crazy ass shit. And they got money to do it. They got way more money to do it. And they got powerful people around them too. That's way more powerful than a gang could dream of. So it's just a warning, because it's not no fairy tale when you're basically on an elite level. I mean, you can see that shit with Diddy. You can see that shit with Diddy in a way, because um, Diddy was kind of like a black Epstein for the most part.
And no Diddy. You understand what I'm saying?
He pretty much is like he was on some like black Epstein type shit. And what Epstein would do is he would get you on that island and he would record you secretly, and he would use it for blackmail. And blackmail is and it's funny how they call it blackmail, but that gets you to do certain shit. Like, if you ever watched the House of Cards, that I got you doing this act on tape. You better do this or that, or I'm gonna do this. Like, yeah, that's blackmail works. Blackmail is very highly effective, very very effective. And then if you don't do it, then we have option B. So it's a very, you already know that. I don't you don't need me to tell you that. You know what that world consists of. You know exactly what that is. You've seen countless movies, seen countless stories and shit like that, because they get caught or get locked up. Like the dude McDermott, I think his name is Paul McDermott or something. That dude, the dudes that dude with the red hair, that got, I think he was in Georgia or somewhere. Um, he came from a rich family, and from what I hear from, like, I think I was watching Lead Attorney, is he was going over it. The people around him, all the people in the community was very scared of him, very fearful, because he was very powerful, was very rich, and he had a reputation. And a lot of people, a lot of white people are very scared of rich people, rich white, their other peers, because they know what those people can do. Like, really, to be honest, like the elite that were in Europe, um, they stayed in Europe. Yeah, they stayed in Europe. The poor white people came to America. The poor white people were fleeing the elite in Europe. That's why they came to America. They were under subjugation from the elite in Europe, from the oligarchy in Europe. They came to America to escape that persecution. All that's happened is the Europeans that were elite just came to America slowly but surely. and they were already in America. Then they, whole Revolutionary War, situation, but they never forgot that. They never forgot that history, and it hasn't really changed much. Uh, so they definitely are very, very, they have a very, very severe concern with elites. But black people don't have that type of situation. They don't look at it like that because with black people, black elites, primarily a lot of black elites, they make their money off of some type of white sponsorship, typically. And black people don't really have no connection to Africa like that. So they're not making, it's no correspondence with Africa. Okay. It's no like reach back to Africa, some shit like that, or some origin that they know of, or some connection to Africa like that. I mean, I've made countless videos talking about that, you know. But the thing is that a lot of black elites don't white black people don't have the fear of black elites. They don't fear black elites. They don't have no concern. It's no story other than the slavery, which the African rulers pretty much played a big role in how slavery was started, or basically how slavery was distributed. But it's no like fear from that, because the black people that are elite are primarily from ancestors that were slaves in America. So it's no like origin story where it's like other than slavery. I mean, well, actually, it kind of makes sense because it's not so much black people fear black elites. They don't like Africans, which makes sense. I do understand that. I do understand the plot or the plight, and I understand the dislike or the hatred or the side eye or the um disliking. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But um yeah, like yeah, black people just don't have that fear of black elites like that. They just don't, because it's kind of it's a different storyline, but kind of similar in a way. It's it was a war. It was tribal warfares, and whoever got caught was sent to slave dungeons, and then they were sent to Africa. I mean, sent to different parts of the world, South America primarily, then North America, then the Caribbeans, and um, it's similar in the sense that the elites, quote unquote, have something to do with that as well. So it was kind of like a systematic approach. The elites in Europe sent their poors to America, and then some of those Europeans were indentured servants as well. Then the African elites or rulers, they had tribal warfares in Africa. The people that were caught, the Africans that were caught, were sent to, again, the West, uh, the new lands, the Caribbean, South America, North America, to be slaves. So it's a similar storyline. It's a similar kind of play, but it's just a little different. Europeans didn't really, they had wars, but they didn't have like no tribal warfare or anything like that. It was just people were really poor. They were peasants, serfs, and a lot of them were, in bondage. They were in prison in Europe, and the rulers opened up the prisons, opened up, anywhere, sane asylums, and they sent these Europeans to Australia and North America and different parts of the world. So it's very similar. It's some correspondence. It's not exactly the same story, but it's very, very similar. I mean, I tell people again, history is like one of the most important subjects that a lot of people overlook because that story has some significance. The history is very, very important. Even if you trade in stocks, like you want to look at the history of that stock, you want to look at the charts, you want to look at everything you possibly can as far as history, even if it's just to even take a glance, because it definitely makes sense. So yeah, but it's not that many black elites like that, and it's just like again, it's a different level of correspondence. And, typically the lower class black people don't. They not only do they not fear black elites, they don't respect black elites. They look at them as coons and toms for the most part because they quote unquote have made money to live live around those particular types of people. I mean, it goes into this in like the dark ghetto or whatever. Or I think it's the dark ghetto by I think Franklin E. Frazier. He goes in on a lot of this. He goes in, man. That book, whoo, that book is a cold book, man. If you wanted to look at things from a sociological perspective of black people in America and then the black elite and the history of the black elite in America, it is no other book probably than that book that will break that down to you. It's like, man, that book is crazy, boy, accurate. It just, man, if you never even saw that world, because I saw that world because I was in that world. I didn't even know I was in that world until like I got older. Like be honest, I didn't really think about it until it wasn't that significant to me until um like my late 30s, mid 30s. I was like, oh, because I started hearing stuff about the black bourgeoisie and the black boule and all this other stuff. And then, I started hearing people talking about it online. And then, come to find out they got all of these books and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, that was what my granddaddy and my grandma, that was their existence. That was their world. I was pretty much, in that circle, like, cause my grandparents, uh, I saw the snapshot of who they knew and who they were close to, and it was like, wow, this is crazy. And then because my granddaddy was so good at being a liar, he used to lie so good. He had me and even his stepchildren believed that he ain't had no money and he ain't hardly ever had no money. And come to find out, he was a millionaire. And they ain't even in his death, even in his passing, because primarily because my aunts and uncles, they ain't really like my granddaddy because that's their stepdaddy. Nobody likes a stepfather. that's like, that's just standard. Nobody gives a shit about her. Nobody really cares about no stepfather. It's like it's just it's weird, but it's like, man, stepfathers get a bad rap, especially if they break up with the mother. They they really don't. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about no damn stepdaddy. They just don't. And then basically, um even when the stepdaddy dies, like, they don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. Like, they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's he dead. Okay, and what's for dinner? You know what I'm saying? Like, That shit, man. And I had to tell my shit, I just, I'm good. I pretend to be, I could pretend to be dumb. But I asked my uncle, I'm like, okay, so if granddad didn't marry your mom, would you want to be back basically in the projects? And he's like, nah, nah, hell no. Okay then. So you know what I'm saying? If your stepdaddy didn't marry your mom, you'll be in the projects. So I mean, I know you didn't like them, but you like that neighborhood and living in that house, away from them projects, But I don't know. I mean, that's something they had to deal with. I mean, I didn't meet my biological grandfather. All I knew was my, basically grandfather that wasn't really kin to me. But that was all I knew. You know what I'm saying? But he definitely was, in that black elite inner circle um, in the Chicagoland area. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't know. It wasn't no big deal to me. It was like, one, I ain't know he was because I thought he was broke. He always, every time I used to come in the room and I want some money so I could go to the candy store or whatever. He's saying he ain't got it. So I thought he was broke. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know I ain't know the man was rich, like just pretending to be broke and was doing as well, and then to he came, to later he told me he was a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like he had liquor stores and all of that, all kind of buildings above, but he worked his butt off. My granddad worked harder than the average man that has a job. I mean, it was a small business. He ran it like a small business. And he worked himself to the ground to keep that business afloat. So I know you could do it, but do you want to do it? Do you want to work? Let's see. Do you want to work about 5 or 6 in the morning till he used to come home? He used to come home at hmm, about 5 o'clock and go take a nap till about 8 o'clock or about 9 o'clock. Then wake up, then go close the store at 10 o'clock. Do you want to do that? That's the all. If you wanted to be a millionaire, can you follow that schedule? Get up every day, and I'm talking about Monday through Sunday, 6 o'clock, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. Wake up, go open this store up, make sure everything is set up, make sure everything is fine. The cat killed the mouse that night before. You gotta clean the mouse up. The blood, throw it in the garbage, whatever. Go to the bank at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Then come back. Uh, you gotta stock the stores and you gotta work that cash register till about 5, 6, whatever, 6 o'clock, get off, go take you a nap, come back, close the store. Do you want to do that? Now, he ain't had to do that, but when I asked him a little bit before he died, that's the way he wanted to run his business. So if you notice the man on the right, that's one of his best friends. He used to work at the bank before, he got into politics and everything like that. That's uh your senator. You say he talk like Winnie the Pooh, rolling birds. You know, I mean, like I thought it was normal. I didn't know. Because he knows Jesse Jackson too. That's like one of his friends. He got a picture like that with him and Jesse Jackson and my grandmother to the left. Like I thought it was normal. I ain't know nothing different. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. They know, they know Jesse Jackson. I didn't make it out to be no big deal until I got older and I saw how the average person really lived and how the average everybody else was just kind of like normal. Like they, parents worked a job, their grandparents worked a job, and that was just it. It's like the guy I grew up with that lived next door to my grandmother. His daddy just worked as he was a Pullman porter. He had a regular job and he retired. That's how most people work. Like, just so happened my granddaddy, he was in the business. He went to Mississippi Valley State and majored into business. And um, that's what he was into, you know. And that was it. Like I didn't think it was I didn't think I just thought it was normal to me. Like I didn't know it was that big of a deal till I got older, but I mean again, like, you know, it wasn't like he was like stupid rich like Warren Buffett or no shit like that. Matter of fact, I looked up the timeline of Warren Buffett. If you would have, like, a lot of older people wasn't really into stocks like that, especially black people. If you would have bought, like, the older people, they would, like, my grandparents would have bought a share of Berkshire Hathaway. Actually, they could even bought it in like 83. Berkshire Hathaway, I think it was like $2 a share, something like that. It was like it was going through a rough. It was like during that time, it was like basically the economy was really messed up. It was like either the late 70s or like the early 80s. Berkshire Hathaway was like cheap. It was like a couple dollars a share or something like that. It was like $6 a share. Like my grandparents could have bought a shit ton of that shit, and just didn't know. They just wasn't. They were both poor. Like my granddad grew up pretty poor. My grandma definitely grew up poor. She was poor when she met my grandfather, and she just worked for him, and then basically it just she's just like, well, I could do this every day. And, what I'm saying, it was like they just got it on, and he liked his employee, and he married her. He not only hired her, he married her. But the thing is yeah, they was like first generation, wealthy or whatever, or most black people are probably first generation wealthy if they become wealthy or rich or whatever you want. I would say my grandfather was rich. I definitely would not say my grandfather was wealthy, because wealth is, in my opinion of what wealth is more embedded, in a sense where if you have fell on hard times, you still won't, you can recover because you're wealthy. You got, basically, your portfolio is diversified. It's, you got your money in oil, but your other businesses didn't do so well. You had to sell off, but you still got your oil. You really, because you got everything set up properly, really ain't no way you're gonna ever get broke. And then you're getting wealthy every year. Your wealth is growing every year. Like rich is, yeah, you work your ass off and you got a lot of money, but you fall behind on taxes, or you get a heavy tax debt or tax burden there goes all that money. Um, wealth is more entrenched than riches. Riches you can lose relatively easy. Wealth, not so much. It's a lot harder, but it's not impossible, because you got wealthy families that do lose their wealth, because you look at what's that dude he used to work for? I think he's still on CNN. Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper. He didn't. He come from the I think what's the name of that family? The family name. I forgot the name. I think it starts with a B. Um, but he came from a rich, wealthy family. I'm talking about like they were up there with the Carnegies, um, the DuPonts, and stuff like that. And through generations, I think like the grandfather left the money, and then their parents had money, and then they kind of like had drinking problems or something like that, and they wasted the money. And then by the time it got to Anderson Cooper's generation, it wasn't nothing hardly left. So Anderson Cooper, he made his money off of CNN, being on news and stuff. He's self-made. I don't think that they were struggling. I don't think he was like, living near the projects and those shit like that. He probably had, some lingering family fortune or whatever that helped him guide him along, but not much. I mean, he didn't have any, probably minimal or no inheritance. He basically had to make his own money himself. But good luck on him because he's a gay. So I mean I don't really know the research on that. Like I mean, is there intergenerational wealthy when you're when you're a gay man? Is that like how that works? Like, you and your husband, you and your male, you being a man and your male husband, y'all have kids. Does that help with what's the generational wealth statistics with that? You know what I'm saying?
Pause.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm sure there are some studies out there, but yeah, I mean, it happens, man. A lot of wealthy families, man, they struggle. Like I'll never forget. I was working for AT&T. I only worked there for like I think like a week or two. Uh, it was like in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, or Chicago suburbs, and somebody knew something about the Walgreens family. So the Walgreens family, they're from Illinois, right? Because Walgreens started in Illinois. Uh, they they still have some of their money from Walgreens, and but what the guy was saying, I was working with at the time, he said that they really kind of messed up. Like they still have the stock ownership of Walgreens, but some of them are like kind of like dealing with mental illness, drug problems, alcohol. You know, they kind of messed up. They dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? But they still, able to maintain those shares and stuff. But what happens to the next generation? And the next generation, will they lose those stock ownerships or the stock trust or whatever? So it's hard. It gets hard to maintain that because see, it's like LeBron James, right? So Bronny, right? And I heard the talk that LeBron James gave to Bronny. He's like, just get in, have fun, don't worry about it, just you know, have fun. I mean, I wouldn't tell my son that. I would say work hard. I wouldn't say just have fun, don't worry about it. Like I just think that LeBron was just too laissez-faire with that speech. So I mean, anyway, I think that that night that they played or whatever together, and it became historical. He didn't even score. He had zero, all zeros. Now, um, I work with my mother. I work with my mother, um, and I mean, I did my job well. I didn't have. It wasn't like I can't. It would be the equivalent of Bronny's performance, and me going to work with my mother, working as a computer teacher. My mother was at that time a social worker. It would be the equivalent of I was in the school and I did nothing the whole day. I just showed up. I was around, I was walking around, you saw me, but I ain't teach the kids. I didn't deal with the kids. I was just there. And it's like, yeah, I just saw a report that or a news report that he's going to the G League. And I'm thinking about it. My first thought is that don't really work out well when them players go to the G League. They don't. It's no. That's like that's like going to play for Ice Cube's Big Three. Like, okay, yeah, it is some players that came from even that came, went back to the league or got in the league, but that's not a good look when you go to the G League. The G League is like that's for guys that basically they played in college, they ain't make it to the NBA, and then they possibly can get on a team and sign for like a one game or 10. They can give you a 10-game contract to play in the NBA. If you do real well in that 10-game contract, you possibly can get signed. It might sign you for a year, 2 years. It depends, but that's rare. That's not like that happens all the time. They only pick like a few people from the G League. Then a lot of times they release them, you know. But it is some, like shiny, or it's some like basically good things that came from that. It's some good players that they came from the G League, got in the NBA, and they were hungry, and they were playing good, and they got signed, and they still in the NBA, but there's not that many players that's happened to. It don't really normally happen like that. And for Bronny to go to the G League, it's just not good. It's just not a good thing because you think about, for example, look at Derrick Rose. Well, I don't know if the G League was still if that was available during that time. I think it was. I think it was new. But if you look at Jay Morant, Derrick Rose, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they ain't go to no G League. They came in and they was, trying to bust heads. And the thing with kind of be basically nepo babies and stuff like that, they just because of the greatness of the father and the wife, they were spoiled. They usually parents spoil their kids. I mean, that's just what people do. I just got a text tonight. I gotta go try to spoil my daughters tomorrow. But I mean, the thing is that covering everything for them, giving them a better life, in a way, it kills that hunger. They ain't hungry. Like when I was a kid, I was hungry. I was hungry. My mother wasn't. My grandparents was rich. My mama wasn't rich. As a matter of fact, it was really my granddaddy was rich. I mean, to be really honest, to not cap, my granddaddy was rich. My mom had to go to work, and my daddy too. And it's like, I ain't have everything I wanted. And it was a lot of times I didn't even like my mom's cooking all the time. Like my mom used to cook liver. I ain't like that shit. Um, she cook other stuff I really wasn't a fan of, whatever. But my mother cooked really well normally, but she would just cook odd stuff. and force us to eat it, like liver. Um, and it's like a lot of times I just didn't like the food, so I go try to, I go buy my own food, and I had to work to get the money to go do that. Like I'm a little kid, I'm young or whatever. I had a paper route when I was like 8 years old. You know, it was a paper boy. I mean, by the time I was like 14, 15, I was working for the Indians. They had a corner store. I was hungry. I had to go out and get it. Most people, they kids or they teenagers, they probably ain't had a job until they probably like maybe 16. It was some guys I grew up with, they ain't get no job till they was like 18. What I'm saying? Like their first job was when they was 18 because they ain't have to work because their parents supply everything for them. It's like, man, I was hungry out there. And then I had some clothes. I had my mom give us a budget. We go to the mall, go get some clothes. But it was some clothes I wanted that I had to come out of pocket to get because I wanted, and I had to go out and hustle up some money to get that, and it's like a kid like that, your parents is upper class, uber wealthy, rich, you don't have to worry about nothing. And you don't, it kind of kills your hunger. Like you're not hungry like that. You're not motivated. And even me, I was spoiled. Even with me being hungry and everything, motivated, I was spoiled. My mom spoiled me. My dad gave me money. Like, what I'm saying? I wasn't, I was fortunate, more fortunate than other people, than a lot of other people. But you got people that they rich, and they got they kids. They make sure they got everything. They don't have to want for anything. They living in a mansion, refrigerator as big as half the size of a normal refrigerator. They a stainless steel refrigerator with the both of the doors, the left and right door, is probably bigger, about twice the size of a standard refrigerator. It's stacked to the brim all the time with drinks, the pantry. You just gotta understand, just if you ever walked in a rich person's house, you know what I'm talking about. I've been in mansions and stuff, working for Comcast and or they call it Xfinity now. I didn't, actually been around a lot of rich people's mansions and stuff because a lot of rich people live in the northern suburbs of the Chicagoland area, and that was where I was working primarily. So yeah, and then even before that, I mean, I was working on computer. I was a computer repairman or whatever, computer technician. I would go to was a field engineer. I would go to people's houses. So I've seen other people, and then even shit. My grandfather, his sister, her husband built mansions in Memphis, and that was the first time I actually lived or spent the night in a mansion. That was that I felt like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, man. I ain't gonna lie, that was an interesting experience. But I mean, the thing is that you know what I'm talking about, man. Just that super rich life. You already get that as a teenager. You grow up and you just have everything and more supplied to you at all times. You, your daddy grew up near the projects in Akron, Ohio, to a single mama that was dealing with drug issues and basically pretty much had to give him off to a coach because she really couldn't take care of him. The boy had height, I mean, LeBron is probably what, about 4 or 5, probably about 6 or 7, no, about 5 or 6 inches taller than Bronny. So he's got that height advantage, and he grew up hungry, hungry. He had to make it. Some people have to make it. They have no other choice. They have to make it, and it's like dude basically was hungry as hell, very talented, very athletic, very motivated, super, had just the right environment, the right coaches, the right people, and had a strong hunger. And he's like, probably definitely probably I would say I would put LeBron definitely behind Jordan, and then Kobe behind LeBron. Like he went to that level. He level like he is one of the greatest basketball players that ever played the game. Um, and his son, it's just he wasn't that great. He's not that he just ain't that he ain't that. And he should be. It's okay. He already made his money. He already got money. His daddy pretty much damn near a billionaire, or if not a billionaire. Um I mean, it's fine. I mean, shit. At the end of the day, even if he is a bust, right? I mean, who cares? You got to play with your daddy for a little brief period of time, and you went to college. You had fun. Your high school life was cake. Your whole life pretty much damn near was cake, other than whatever struggles he had to deal with. I'm sure he had to deal with some struggles. He damn near died. He had a heart attack or playing basketball. They had to do a heart surgery on him. But the thing is that yeah, it's just some people have that hunger, and that hunger motivates you to get some level of success, some level to achieve higher. And you can't teach it, you can't motivate anybody to do that because life motivates you to do that. Growing up poor, you go in the cereal boxes, roaches in the cereal box, and then you either don't fucking eat the fucking cereal, or throw it away because you don't want to eat no disgusting ass cereal with roaches in it. And you probably, who knows what the roaches was doing in the cereal box. Then some people, be like, man, they just act like the roaches wasn't there. And then pour the shit in the cereal bowl, and then you go in the refrigerator, and it's like a smidget of milk in there because they didn't get no milk the night before or whatever. It ran out of milk. So you gotta put water and mix it in with the milk in order to fill it up to the desired level for you to eat your cereal. That experience Bronny ain't never had. And some people, yeah, a lot of people have never had that experience. I mean, it just happened. And that experience, you can't just it's like torture. You done been through a lot of torture. Somebody hasn't. You're gonna fucking be a monster compared to that other person. That's why that dude. Um, that's why a lot of people are the way they are. You know. Like it just that hunger makes you a beast. It's like you're on a beast. Even if that person is quiet, you can tell that person's a fucking beast. Because he can go to a certain level that not too many people can go because he done been through hell and back. He done dealt with torture. He done dealt with years and decades of torture. His life was probably worse than somebody's life in prison. His outside life was worse, or her, or whoever that go through that, go through poverty. When you get out of that situation, you become an absolute monster. And you can't teach that. That's why immigrants come over here and kill, absolutely destroy and pillage, because they done been through stuff and then seen stuff that people ain't never experienced. You know what I'm saying? Like they done had to endure things nobody will ever probably endure in their lifetime. And they come over here and work hard and become absolute beasts, because they motivated. They extremely motivated. They trying to make up for lost time. And they ain't taking no shorts and no fucking losses. And you cannot teach that in no Harvard Business School. You can't teach that in Carnegie Mellon University, Rutgers University. You can't teach hunger. You can't teach drive. That's a motivation. That's an emotion. And if you don't have that in you, it just I can't. You can't really do much with that. You know, that's what make you a tough. It's tough and grit when almost like a killer. When you on that court, because I played basketball before, and you got the stamina, you got the toughness, you know, that killer instinct, man. You trying to run through a motherfucker. You trying to dunk over a motherfucker head. You know, you trying to just, man, I want to dunk on this motherfucker. Shit. I want to I want to posterize this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like man, I'm gonna shoot the three, you know what I'm saying, and just goddamn it, shoot, rip the fucking net with my jump shot. Like all that type of stuff, man. I'm gonna cross this dude over, make him look silly. Basically all that type of stuff, man. You learn it and you learn how to control it. Sports is, it's just like that, man. It's no different than somebody in a business suit that, like my granddaddy that shit grew up in an outhouse. Grew up in a shack with an outhouse, no running water, no electricity, determined to make it. You can't teach that in no school. Ain't no school to teach that. Ain't no boot camp for that. And it ain't gonna ever be because it's something that you endured, and you went through and you overcame, and it's a certain level of toughness that you get from that, certain level of grit that you get from that you can't nobody mimic or copy. Can't copy that. Can't copy somebody's grit, determination, toughness, drive. You can't even copy that shit. You can try. Like I ain't gonna lie, I tried to copy my grandfather. Failed, failed miserably. I grew up, even I, you could say shit, what shit I went through. I had to deal with roaches, mice, rats. Yeah, my mom's house that she bought because my mom liked to buy old frames, and it's not like she had to do it. Like like she didn't really have too many options. She just like, I guess because she felt like she thought it was a bigger house. She's getting a bigger house. A lot of old frames. It's bigger. It tends to be bigger than a brick house because bricks, the material outside is expensive. So it's like you can get damn near a mansion that's a frame for a cheaper price because um it's older, it's a frame. And the house was like built in the 1800s. It's the oldest house on the block. Had like, what is it, about 4 bedrooms. You could have easily turned it into 5 bedrooms. It's like a damn multi-unit building, really, because you could have easily just made it one. Oh yeah, and it was like littered, overran with mice, overran with rats. And I remember I used to have to wake up, I had to go use the bathroom. We all had a bedroom, me and my sisters. and my mom and dad lived downstairs. Used to wake up and have to go use the bathroom, and literally it was like fucking mice and rats just walking around, just you know, like it's New York on a on a New York evening, enjoying the nightlife. And I had to just scurry through all of that, get to the bathroom, use the bathroom, and then go back in my bedroom and close the door. And I had to deal with that for, I don't know, maybe a year. And then we went to the Humane Society and got a cat, got a mixed Persian. That's why I like cats. Like that's why I always have cats, man. To this day, like that cat came in that house and went to war with the motherfucking rodents and started taking them off one by one. Even my homie that I grew up with that went to the NFL, he saw it. He was impressed by my cat, hunting abilities. And I was like, man, that cat went to war with them damn rats and and mice, and they was gone. They was up out of there after about a couple months. They was gone, and it was like, man, I mean, we always had cats, but yeah, it was just that, and then the roaches. The roaches was cats don't get rid of roaches. I mean, they don't get rid of that shit, man. And it's like I think like just pest control was out, and they just never. It's just it worked out, and then it came back. Man, I used to at one point I used to just have some spray in my room, and if I ever saw one, I just spray it. And it's like I had to deal with that shit for like we moved in that house from 87 until I moved the fuck. That was why I was determined to move the fuck up out of there. I moved up out of there. I cried because I couldn't get into a college or nothing that I wanted, and I had to spend another year living in that house with my parents and go to junior college. But and then it was no central air. There was no fucking vents. It's old ass house, no vents. So hot summers. We had it was like a furnace. I mean, it was a steam radiator. It was warm in the winter, but hot ass summers. So it's like, man, all of that damn torture that I endured. Went through torture, fucking torture. I broke my arm. I was playing basketball. I fell on my arm, broke my wrist. You know, I'm like 15 years old. Mom said, basically, sleep it off. We gotta go to a clinic in the morning because my mother wanted to save money on an emergency room. And it's like you can say, yeah, who hurt you? Yeah, my fucking mom. My mom hurt the fuck out of me. I had to sleep the whole night in pain. Broke like a motherfucker. Come the next day, go to the clinic, and then the doctor. It was like a Hispanic neighborhood, South Chicago. People from Chicago know that area. Put a needle through my arm to numb the pain, and then popped it in place, put a cast on. I mean, imagine all of that shit and plus more. I'm surprised. I might have to clip this up and put it in a broke story. But the thing is that I went through all of that torture, man. More torture than probably a Mexican. And I mean, it's like you can't beat me. I mean, you can't. My punch gonna be harder than yours because I got more umph to put on that motherfucker because I got too much pain to deliver to you than you probably gonna deliver to me because I've been through way more than the average person. I mean, my level of hell that I can unleash is different than anybody else because I've been through too much. I've I've been through too many like problematic situations and endured it, and ain't too many motherfuckers that could really mess with me on the level of the stuff I've been through. It's some people that have. My cousin, he was, he basically went through a lot of shit. He could beat me, definitely hands down. But it's not. I get really impressive, and I when I know it's somebody that went through more than I have, I have a level of respect for people. Like I got a high level of respect for people that have been through more stuff than I have. And when they tell me and stuff like that, trade war stories, I'm like, oh damn, you know, shit. Your mom and daddy was on crack. Shit, you was born with crack in your system. God damn. It's like just stuff like that. You was ward of the state, it's like, damn, you know, it's a certain level of like respect that I'm like, man, you went through it. Damn, that's some shit. Cause I mean, I ain't had to deal with that. I had to, it's fucked up. But I mean, thankfully my parents weren't on drugs. But um, yeah, man, you can't teach that struggle, man. That shit, man, is not something you can put it in textbook and put on a slideshow and teach somebody. You just can't teach. You can't do it. It's a level of endurance that you done went through that you had to endure things, and you came out from it, and it's like boot camp. Like you done went through all these boot camps. Just imagine all of the shit you've been through is like a boot camp. You done went through it. By the time you go to the real boot camp, like when I went to the Navy and I went to boot camp, um, it was parts that was tough, but it wasn't tough than this, the stuff I had to endure, like the things that I had to endure in my life before I got to boot camp made boot camp more of a breeze. It was like, oh, okay, I can kind of do this a lot easier than the average person because I didn't already had to deal with all kind of stuff. And then I had, it just adds to it. Like I actually went to boot camp. Navy boot camp it's not as hard as the Marines or the Army, but it's not easy either. Maybe the Air Force is a little bit easier. But yeah, man, I mean, I've been through that, been through a war. I mean, all these things, man, just it's certain people, man. You might think they weak. You might think that, oh, okay, this person's a pusher. You just quiet. They just quiet. They just, you know, this person will unleash hell on your ass. You be like, God damn, this motherfucker won't leave me the fuck alone. God damn, man, I'm trying to escape this dude, man. It's just certain people you don't really want to mess with, man. I'm gonna tell you, certain people, man, you just do not want to mess with, man. You might think that they soft because they being nice to you. I remember this dude, man. He was a Marine. He worked on nuclear silos. I definitely feared that dude. I was not trying to double cross that dude, man. Uh, that dude was nothing to play with, man. And he was a Marine officer, you know what I'm saying, worked on the nuclear silos, man. I can tell that dude had a dark soul because I was like, what, about 18 years old, about 18, 19. I was in college, and one of my college buddies, he kind of like that was his sponsor. He helped him, in college and stuff because he was, because his parents didn't really have that much money, and he had foster kids, and man, that dude, I already knew that dude had a dark soul. It wasn't nothing to be messed with. I mean, he ain't have to tell me nothing, you know. But there's certain people, man, you just you don't want to mess with. But I promise you that. You just don't want no parts with, man. These some people, man, they warrior. That's a warrior. That's that warrior spirit. Um, you know what I'm saying. You want to stay. You don't want to take those people for granted. You just don't want to do that. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I said a lot. Hopefully this is motivational. I'll try to clip up some of this and put it in my broke stories because I probably never said that story to anybody online, and definitely I haven't even told some people I know personally that story. But anyway, my heart felt compelled to let you know, in correlation to the conversation. But I bid you a good night, have a good evening, and goodbye.
He said to me, my grandfather walked 10 miles to work every day. My father walked 5. I'm driving a Cadillac. My son is in a Mercedes. He said my grandson will be in a Ferrari. But he said my great-grandson will be walking again. So I asked him, I said, well, why is that? And he said to me, tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create tough times. He said to me, many will not understand, but you have to raise warriors.